we're both dying. Hold on till tomorrow. It's a new day dawning.
I'm tired of singing to the shadows on the wall. They'll never listen or sing along. Need you to warn me, I need to know. Promise me that you'll never let me go. I just wanna be close to you, despite all I do.
I'm Trey Allen, conservative candidate for the North Carolina Supreme Court. As a Marine Corps veteran, practicing attorney, professor of law, and father of 5, I want to pass on the precious freedoms that we inherited to the next generation. For that to happen, we need judges who will faithfully apply our Constitution and our laws, not rewrite them to achieve specific outcomes. If you share my commitment to liberty, please vote Trey Allen in 2022. Paid for by Trey Allen for Justice.
My name is Brian Wilson. I'm running for District Court Judge. During my lifetime, I've gone from protecting your God-given and constitutional freedoms as a combat vet of the U.S. military to working locally as a carpenter building homes while I worked my way through college. For the past 17 years, I've been protecting and defending your constitutional rights in the courtroom. I'm currently protecting our rights of our most vulnerable, our children, as the guardian ad litem attorney advocate for the children of Brunswick, Columbus, and Bladen County. I've spent my career serving our country, our state, and our communities, so I ask that you continue your confidence by voting for me, Brian Wilson, in the primary elections on May 17th. Thank you.
Veteran Awareness sponsored by You Are Not Alone. Today's veteran homeless rate is approximately 19,750, and the numbers are declining because of the various veteran programs. If you are a veteran you know is homeless, please call 877-48-VET. This is a confidential and toll-free call. From this veteran to other veterans, please be there to help our brother and sister veterans. Again, the number is 1-877-424-3838. And thank you for your service.
Paid for by the committee to elect Judge Michael Stack. As a member of the United States Air Force, I stand for our nation. As a prosecutor, I took a stand against violent criminals. As an attorney for the Fraternal Order of Police, I took a stand for law and order. As a sitting conservative judge, I stand for our Constitution. And as a judge on the Court of Appeals, I will stand up for you. Vote for a battle-tested conservative. Stand with Statting. Michael Statting is a reservist for the United States Air Force. Use of his military rank and job titles does not imply endorsement by the Department of the Air Force or the Department of Defense.
This show is also sponsored by Dr. Tony Maglione. Dr. Tony is a cardiologist practicing in Wilmington. He accepts Medicare patients, and his office is located across the street from New Hanover Regional Medical Center at 2032 17th Street. The office number is 202-1071. Dr. Tony is an author whose last book is Rules for Conservative Patriots, and it can be purchased on Amazon. His website is www.drtonymag.com.
Marine Service Pro and the Tackle Box Seafood,
which
is located at 8210 River Road, Southport, is the place to go. It is open Monday through Friday.
My name is Samuel Hatch. It's such an honor and a pleasure to be here. It's such a beautiful venue.
Saturday, 7 to 6. Marine Service Pro is a full Suzuki and Tohatsu dealership.
Thank you for
They deal in pre-owned boats, full service and repair, with certified technicians in all specialists, anything dealing with boats. The Tackle Box offers fresh local seafood, live bait, a tackle shop, and fish packing and shipping. They also offer a full-service U-Haul dealership. Pick up your live bait, have your boat serviced, spend time with Leon or Jenny for one-stop shopping at Marine Service Pro and the Tackle Box Seafood.
He couldn't finish it, and he needed some help, and I helped him out.
Lee Nails, located at 4956 Long Beach Road, Southport, is the place to pamper yourself. Steve and his staff of 5 are trained to do everything. They offer manicures, which include acrylic, white tip, powder gel, liquid gel, dipping powder, and both pink and white. Pedicures include the deluxe, the special, the royal, the calming mud mask, and therapeutic wax dip. Other services include skin treatments and waxing. Feel your stress melt away in the soft spa chairs. Give yourself some time to check out the large polish selection. Open Monday through Saturday 9 to 7 and Sunday 11 to 5. Appointments and walk-ins are welcome. Hurry and get in there before June 16th. They are having a special, 20% off. Lee Nails, 910-457-0837.
All righty, welcome to All Things Brunswick. We had a few technical difficulties today, nothing major, but we got it figured out. Even my feeble brain helped out, which is saying a lot. There's not much up in here.
Thank goodness for Dan.
So welcome everyone. Mary and I, hello Mary.
Hi.
Are here once again. Bill is slacking off somewhere in the middle of the ocean. Actually, I think he's probably up in Alaska right now.
Yeah.
I really hope he's having a good time. I like to pick on him, as we know. Being a little bit ancient, not old. But I love Bill. Bill loves me. It's all in good fun.
He's aged.
He's unlike fine wine, Bill has aged, yes.
It'll be gone by
I just took off my dress Crocs. I was telling Mary earlier I have dress Crocs and I have regular Crocs. You know? I guess I'm so southern now, right?
Perfect.
So,
Perfect.
welcome everyone. We're going to kind of wing it tonight because we had those technical difficulties, so bear with us. But we've got some, I think, some really good topics to chat about.
We do.
But I want to give a shout out to the new sponsors.
Yes.
And I may have to go see the nail salon because the other day I was doing mulch out in my garden, and it was that black dyed mulch, and my hands are still black from it.
I see that.
It looks like they're dirty, but in reality, it's mulch dye.
Right.
Yeah, so a little bit craziness, but
Go see Steve and everyone
I might have to go
else.
see them and see if they can dig it out from my nails. But
Birds
anyway,
and the bees,
hey, we gotta have a little fun with
dogwood
this, right?
trees.
So I thought today we
I
got a
don't
couple topics,
mind
but
a
one I
little
wanted to kind of touch on, which is near and dear to my heart,
Well,
and I'm saying it in a negative way today. D-Day was yesterday, so it was, how many years?
First of the season, but
70-something, right?
Yeah.
Also, by the way, Battle of Midway was
was
over the last 3 days. And shout out to the heroic men, women, everyone who participated in all of that and fought for our country and our freedoms. I want to say a special thanks to all of them, my parents' generation, all my uncles, my father. My father actually did not partake in World War II. He was in Korea. However, all my uncles, cousins, and so forth fought during World War II. I grew up listening to their stories. I have an Italian family. If those of you who are Italian, I don't know if you are. Saturday nights was let's get drunk and have party every Saturday. And I say that in a good way. Okay. But I heard all the stories from growing up. And of course, I also had to hear my father, who was the baby of the family. He was a Marine. Everybody else was Navy.
Snowfall on the countryside.
He would say the Navy was the transport arms and all that. But fond memories. I'm actually smiling just thinking about it now. But a shout out to all of them. And the reason I'm mentioning that in particular, and I'm sorry I'm hogging the microphone, but I'll give it to you in a second, is I'm a little more passionate about this, if you can't tell, is that our not so beloved president
but after that, the flowers
No, he did not. The only reference that he gave to D-Day was to specify that former President Trump was unable to get into the armed forces twice. He tried twice, but the thing that he failed to tell everybody was that he tried 4 times and couldn't get in. And the last time
She'll fall
he was on because of what he stated as asthma. Anyway, I agree with you, Dan. It is near my heart as well. My dad was in the Battle of the Bulge.
Oh, really?
Yes, sir.
My grandfather served on that too.
He spoke to me many times about what happened that day. He received medals for saving 2 of his Army buddies, and of course they didn't talk about it much.
No, that generation, they would talk about the positive stuff, but you never heard the negative stuff. I actually, after a few years, I did find some things out about my grandfather on my mother's side. He was in the 3rd Army, Patton's Army. He was a tanker, and apparently the tank he was in got hit, and I guess the person next to him lost their head, type thing. So he never talked about it much. I did find out about it eventually.
Well, they had PTSD back then too.
Yeah, it was called shell shock, if I remember right. Yes. Or there was,
but it was the very same thing
too, right?
Yes.
Different variations, but it was PTSD.
It was.
But that generation, they call it the greatest generation. My opinion, it is.
Oh, absolutely.
Hawk created that. It speaks to the best of what this country is.
Exactly.
That we went to war on both sides, right? Atlantic and Pacific.
Yes.
We talk about D-Day, Battle of Midway also occurred on these dates. One gets a little forgotten about. I could go into a whole thing on that because I actually studied the Battle of Midway back in the day, and that was the turning point in the war on both sides. Most people don't realize that. But anyway, the sacrifices they made, the sacrifices people at home made.
And they did it because it was the thing to do.
It was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
It was
how they were raised.
Yes.
It was the right thing to do. It was never questioned.
There
was no discussion on it. You just did it.
You after the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor, the next day, people just started showing up.
Yep.
They volunteered.
Absolutely.
And it makes me wonder at today's generation. Sorry, but I don't think they would do that.
No, of course not.
I as you look back, you think, some 80 years ago, ballpark, that generation then begat my generation, the boomers, right? My generation fought primarily the early Gulf War, the first one in the early 90s. We were a volunteer army then, but people volunteered to go.
Right.
9/11 happened. People volunteered. Many, and brave men and women.
I have to give a shout out to my grandson.
Do it.
Daniel went into the Navy.
Really? Good
yes, he did. And he just graduated from college. So I got to thinking about it today and thinking about D-Day and the fact that our fathers and grandfathers and uncles went very willingly to war. But Daniel, I know you did as well, and I love you, honey, and I'm very proud of you.
You should be proud of him. And I'm going to give a shout out to someone else in the room who's over in the corner running the board for us. Many thanks to Greta, who served also.
Thank you for your service, Greta.
And her dad.
And your dad.
Yelling across the room to us. I kind of feel like, I would be saying this anyway. I really would. But I kind of feel like we're trying to make up a little bit, too, for the snub that was given to all veterans. Not just D-Day. I mean, D-Day, yes, that was important to speak about. Again, Battle Midway and all that. But all veterans.
Right.
It's really a snub at all of them because
I think Greta and I were thinking about it at the same moment because we texted each other just about at the same time talking and totally ignored it.
And then to go and use it as to try and, I guess, snub the prior president. Why? There's many presidents, by the way, that haven't served in the military on both sides of the aisle. And I get that they're playing politics. I get it. It's wrong.
Yes,
you should
it
never
is.
go there, because both sides could make the same argument. That to me should be taken out completely.
Yeah, I agree.
Clinton
I
did
agree.
not serve. Obama did
Right.
not serve, but they never talk about that.
Yeah.
But they're gladly will bring up the other Republicans that didn't serve.
Yes.
Sorry, but it applies to both sides. And
they're using it as a political
it's a
tool.
political tool to
And
drum
it
up the base.
should not be.
No.
Because of those folks like my dad,
Exactly.
your grandfather, and Greta and her dad.
And Bill, who's not here, by the way.
Bill, who served in the Army, because of what they gave willingly.
Right.
And let's face it, these folks don't give willingly. So,
it's,
yeah.
Greta just made a comment they're good at taking, and shout out again and applause to you for saying that. You can pick up a microphone if you want, Greta. I think she's gonna. Come on, Greta, you can do it. Let's hear it. She always runs the board for us.
Give us your
Give us some thoughts.
You want my thoughts?
Yes.
Come on up. Show yourself.
Oh, okay.
Climb on up here. I told her I was going to rope her in. She went,
I feel like I do is climb up here. All right.
Hopefully that mic's working.
All right. Here's what I think. I think that this administration is so hopeless. And I think his staff is so hopeless and so focused on the wrong things, anything but the American people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And let's face it, the bulk of the people that we are snubbing are, just like you said, people like my father, your husband, Bill, all these who went out there and did their bit, just like I did.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And, it doesn't sound like much to these people. My dad did 35 years
Wow.
of active service in the United States.
That's dedication.
3 wars.
That's giving a lot.
So I was really upset last night, and I started texting Mary.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, please tell me I'm wrong.
No, you're not wrong, though. That's the thing. I would never tell you you're wrong on that.
No, ma'am.
It's a slap in the face to
It
all
certainly
veterans.
is. Yeah.
Not just D-Day, all veterans.
It was an afterthought this morning. My husband came in and said, oh, President Biden finally released something at 9:00 last night.
That's because the political pressure from the media was coming down on him, and
Yeah.
had to turn around. That should have been like 7 a.m. release.
It was 3 a.m. in France, by the way, so it was the next day.
Yeah, so wasn't even the same day.
I was thinking about Greta because I was so angry myself, and I was thinking about Greta because I thought, I am not a veteran. And she was.
Mm-hmm.
So it must have been especially hard for her to take. So I guess that's why we were thinking about it at the same time.
And just kind of speak a little bit about how, I know how you're feeling, but like the military in general, the people that are serving now, how does it affect them when they don't hear from their commander in chief, by the way, the man who leads them? How do they feel?
This has been, in my opinion, a really hard run since 9/11. Okay, because at first you had this huge emphasis on the military and everybody's rah, right? And then all of that just started changing. And the new administration came in, the Obama administration, pulled all the money and all the training away. We're still pumping people into Iraq and Afghanistan to get mutilated.
Sure.
Okay. And it seems that consistently, whether it's President Clinton's unfortunate first lady, or
well put,
or Joe Biden, it just seems really unfortunate to me that the people that give the most get the least.
You're right.
I couldn't agree more.
Absolutely right.
Just that simple.
Yeah.
It's got to affect morale.
My God, you wouldn't believe they can't recruit right now. They're so angry about this. Did you hear about the whole study looking for all the evil Nazi white supremacists in the military?
I have heard about that a little bit, but feel free to speak to it a little bit.
They came up with, like, out of a 1.5 million force, they came up with like 90 people who might maybe have some affiliation with some sort of shady group.
Gosh.
That's not how we are.
That's not even,
That's not how
I'm
we
trying
are.
to do the math in my head. Yeah.
We're together. We pull together. It doesn't matter in the military where you're from.
You're right. You have each other's
military's
back.
colorblind.
Colorblind.
Yeah.
And I remember hearing, now mind you, in my father's and my uncle's generation, the military was segregated. It was, I think, 47, 48 before it became somewhere in there. But I remember them saying it's colorblind, that they were dependent because the black troops primarily were in supply and that type of services, rear echelon, if you will. They were so dependent on them, they counted them as equals. And I remember them talking about that and saying there's no color in the military. And I was, 8, 9, 10 years old. And I remember it to this day, some 50 years later, that there was no prejudice there, right? There was, we are brothers in arms.
Yeah.
They didn't talk about the women too much, but they didn't see them, but as far as color, there was none of that. And now you're starting to see it in the military. They're talking about various things that kind of, to me, are counterintuitive to what you want from the military. You want everybody cohesive together. The last thing you want is division.
I was honored to be a keynote speaker at a celebration for the Tuskegee Airmen. And this is when they were still called these guys alive. And I'm going to tell you something. The credits are rolling, and these guys are still talking. This is how proud they were of the service they give. They were up there holding on to each other. Oh, you remember this event and that battle, and they were so proud.
As they should be. Military. As they should be.
They didn't talk about, my gender surgery, not to knock, you get me, right? But I'm just saying.
Don't get me started on that, Greta.
They wanted to talk about the good they did and how proud they were.
Exactly.
And that speaks to that whole generation, though. They truly were and are, because there's still quite a few of them left, the greatest generation. And it makes me sad as an American. I grew up listening to the stories. I read hundreds of books about World War II. It was a passion of mine. And it was because of the sacrifices they gave, and then I moved up. Vietnam was big at that point.
Don't get me started on that.
Yeah, well, the negatives everybody knows about, but also there were positives there that I saw. And
bravery there.
A lot of bravery. And keep in mind, most of those guys were, I think the average age was 18.
Yes.
I think, so we're not talking, and now 18-year-olds are vilified, right? Not kind of, one of the other subjects we want to talk about is all the gun stuff going on, but those 18-year-olds in Vietnam, and by the way, who stormed the Normandy beaches, who fought in the Pacific, wherever.
Some of them weren't 18 yet.
Some of them weren't.
They lied about their ages so they could go to war. Because it was a given.
Yeah,
they didn't even think about it.
18, 19-year-olds gave their lives for this country.
Yes.
And now they're getting slammed for being whatever. Again, for politics.
Yes.
And I say, if you think that man or woman, doesn't matter, an 18-year-old person, I don't even know if you can say person anymore, the way things are, right? Let's go with it, though. An 18-year-old person can hump the jungles of Vietnam, fight in the Battle of the Bulge, fight on the beaches of Normandy, but yet doesn't have the maturity to carry a gun now or own a gun. It's ludicrous to me.
I know.
Are there 18-year-olds that shouldn't have them? Absolutely. There are 80-year-olds that shouldn't have them. But I just think that I'm getting fired up. Can you tell? You started it. But I look at it as, look, if you're 18 years old, you should be able to carry a gun. Now, should there be background checks? I'll agree with all that. But I don't think age matters on that. I talk about it a lot in a lot of other areas. 18-year-olds can't drink, but they can go serve in the Army or whatever. Insanity to me. 5-year-olds, though, can decide to have gender reassignment surgery. I almost said a bad word there. It's insane to me where we've gotten as a country with that. So when the president doesn't give thanks or credit or in some way honor those people,
recognize
in some shape or form.
Yes.
One line, dude. I'm talking to him directly right now. I'm looking in the camera. Joe Biden. All right, your brain's pudding. Let's move it up. Jill Biden. Is that her name? Yes. Tell your husband to speak up next time. One line is all we needed. Insanity to me. Take over, because I'm going to get fired up. This is going to be a good show.
You're fine, Dan. You're fine.
Mary, it's Mary's
I
fault.
agree with you. I do agree. My husband died from a service-related disease. Very young, too young. When he went to war, he went willingly because it was just it went without saying. They didn't question why they had to serve. They just served. When he got there, my husband was a master mechanic, and so they put him on medic helicopters, and he kept them flying, which meant he went into the bush and picked up bodies and pieces of, along with the medics on the chopper. So obviously when he came, very bad. But he never, ever once said, this so-and-so government, look what they made me do, blah, 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 blah. Never. He never once complained about it. He never complained even when we found out that he had renal cancer. He never once blamed the government or the fact that he had to go to Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
So he just took it in his stride, and he was a very strong individual. So I think that I would be hard-pressed to find somebody now, if they went through that, to act the way Tyr did.
But this generation, I mean, there's some good. I mean, the people in the military now, God bless them. I mean, what they're putting up with, what they're facing from the leadership.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to make that clear. I hold nothing against any active service member whatsoever. The leadership's where the blame's, and it starts at the top. All right, we're going to throw it to a commercial. First commercial break here. So we will let you take it away, and we will be back in just a couple of minutes.
We need judges who serve we the people, not self-interested career politicians. This is Jenny Statting, wife of Judge Michael Statting, your conservative candidate for North Carolina Court of Appeals. Michael is a former prosecutor, sitting Republican judge, and a reservist in the United States Air Force. Michael is a lifelong public servant. That is why I'm asking you to remember to vote for Judge Michael Statting, your conservative candidate for North Carolina Court of Appeals. Paid for by the committee to elect Michael Statting. Michael Statting is a reservist for the United States Air Force. Use of job title does not imply endorsement by the Department of Air Force or the Department of Defense.
My name is Brian Wilson. I'm running for District Court Judge. During my lifetime, I've gone from protecting your God-given and constitutional freedoms as a combat vet of the U.S. military to working locally as a carpenter building homes while I worked my way through college. For the past 17 years, I've been protecting and defending your constitutional rights in the courtroom. I'm currently protecting our rights of our most vulnerable, our children, as the guardian ad litem attorney advocate for the children of Brunswick, Columbus, and Bladen County. I've spent my career serving our country, our state, and our communities, so I ask that you continue your confidence by voting for me, Brian Wilson, in the primary elections on May 17th. Thank you.
This show is also sponsored by Dr. Tony Maglione. Dr. Tony is a cardiologist practicing in Wilmington. He accepts Medicare patients, and his office is located across the street from New Hanover Regional Medical Center at 2032 17th Street. The office number is 202-1071. Dr. Tony is an author whose last book is Rules for Conservative Patriots, and it can be purchased on Amazon. His website is www.drtonymag.com.
Our founders expected judges to apply, not make, our laws. I'm Trey Allen, conservative candidate for the North Carolina Supreme Court. More than 20 years ago, I began my legal career by joining the Marine Corps and taking an oath to support and defend the United States Constitution. As a justice on our state Supreme Court, I will continue to protect the Constitution by basing my rulings on the Founders' intent, not my personal views. Paid for by Trey Allen for Justice.
Veteran Awareness sponsored by You Are Not Alone. Today's veteran homeless rate is approximately 19,750, and the numbers are declining because of the various veteran programs. If you or a veteran you know is homeless, please call 877 888-4AID-VET. This is a confidential and toll-free call. From this veteran to other veterans, please be there to help our brother and sister veterans. Again, the number is 1-877-424-3838. And thank you for your service.
Marine Service Pro and the Tackle Box Seafood is located at 8210 River Road, Southport. Open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, with the Tackle Box open Monday through Saturday, 7 to 6. Marine Service Pro is a full Suzuki and Tohatsu dealership. They deal in pre-owned boats, full service and repair with certified technicians in all engines. Fiberglass specialists, anything dealing with boats. The Tackle Box offers fresh local seafood, live bait, a tackle shop, and fish packing and shipping. Full service U-Haul dealership. Pick up your live bait, have your boat serviced, spend time with Leon or Jenny for one-stop shopping at Marine Service Pro and the Tackle Box Seafood. Lee Nails is located at 4956 Long Beach Road in Southport. It's the place to pamper yourself. Steve and his staff of 5 are trained to do everything. They offer manicures, which include acrylic, white tip, powder gel, liquid gel, dipping powder, and both pink and white. Pedicures include the deluxe, the special, the royal, the calming mud mask, and therapeutic wax dip. Other services include skin treatments and waxing. Feel your stress melt away in the soft spa chairs. Give yourself some time to check out the large polish selection. Lee Nails open Monday through Saturday and Sunday 11 to 5. Appointments and walk-ins are welcome. Oh, and hurry by. Before June 16th, they are having a special 20% off. Lee Nails, 910-457-0837.
Thank you, Mary. Great job on that. So I'm going to have to go check out that Marine Center because I don't need to
That's
own a
an
boat.
awesome place.
I want to check it out. It's, I guess it's the guy in me, right? It's like little toys I want to go check out.
Well, let me tell you, I have had some experience there. I help them pack fish when the boats
really?
come
Tell
in.
about that.
Yep. When the boats come in, then we weigh the fish and we
weigh. I was thinking wave the fish. I'm like, wait,
No,
weigh
we
the
weigh
fish.
'em.
Okay, got it.
And we put them in crates because one of their dealers from Ontario, Canada, sends a truck down to pick them up. And they love the king mackerels.
Really?
So some interesting things that I learned by doing this, because I've never done the fishing business in my entire life, king mackerel, don't go near his mouth because he'll bite you. And if you ever looked in their mouth, you can see a lot of teeth.
Wow. So Bill's question, he always asks, tell me something about yourself that no one else knows. I'm going to tell something now because you're going to laugh.
Okay.
I'm deathly afraid of fish.
You are?
I am. I will not touch one.
Why are you afraid?
So when I was 5.5, 6 years old, somewhere in there, my father took me fishing at a local lake, and I caught a catfish, a bullhead.
Mm-hmm.
And I picked up Mr. Fish, and the hook was in his mouth, and I went to take the hook out, and he glammed onto my finger. Mind you, 5, 6 years old, and I got this, I don't know, probably that big, I don't even remember. And he wasn't letting go.
Oh, dear.
And I'm doing this. I remember running around, screaming, yelling, all this stuff.
I'm sorry.
Since that day. No, feel free to laugh. And my wife will tell you, we have an aquarium. If a fish dies, I will not touch it. I will not put my hand in that aquarium. I will not go near a fish. At a store, I will not touch a fish. but yet I'll swim in the ocean. Go figure. So there you go. I gave you a fun fact about me.
Thank you.
I thought that would bring a little chuckle to you.
Absolutely.
But definitely, I'm going to go check out that center because not that I'm looking to buy a boat. I don't know that I could afford one right now with gas, but I love looking at toys, as they say. And I'm a typical
Well, you
guy
need
that
to
way.
visit Marine Service Pro because I swear they have a little of everything.
I'm sure I can find something there I like.
They
Absolutely.
keep adding and adding, and it's wonderful.
Oh, wow.
They have all kinds of tackle and everything.
Cool. All right. So we're going to kind of morph on to the next subject. I'm going to get fired up again. I know, shocking, right? So as
he's on a roll, folks.
Just call me butter. I'm on a roll. All right. I got both ladies laughing. I'm hoping you're laughing online. So one of the things that's been in the news a little bit, you might have heard about it, a little talk about gun control.
Mm-hmm.
But before we get into that, I want to ask a question. Why don't we have sensible alcohol control laws?
That is a very good question.
Do you know that 11,000 people a year are killed by drunk drivers?
Yes.
It's about 30 a day.
Yes.
Why don't we have sensible alcohol control?
I don't know. That is a very good question.
We should be banning all alcohol. Now, I'm joking, by the way. Look at Greta turned around and went, what? No. I'm making a point with that, right?
Yes.
That's Greta's like pretending she's drinking.
There are a few laws in place. For instance, if you are a bartender and you serve someone who is inebriated,
you can be held responsible.
You can be held responsible should they injure someone or whatever. Also, of course, we all know that you do not buy alcohol from minors. They have pretty stiff,
But yet it still happens, Mara.
It
it's
does.
almost like people don't pay attention to the law.
Yeah. Well,
Shocking.
know what? The craziest thing I've ever heard in my life is a parent who says, well, I told them they could have a party at the house and I'd buy their having them on the road.
I did that. I can't say I didn't. But to be fair, I did monitor it closely. All right, all kidding aside, I kind of brought that up. The reason I brought it up is the gun control debate is going on right now. And that is one of the arguments that I use with the people who are extreme gun control, because they're out there. There should be no guns at all. Full disclosure, I have a few. I am a concealed carry holder and all that stuff. But I look at the extremes that we're seeing out there now, which is that there should be none, that the Second Amendment.
Right.
What did our president say? The Constitution is, I think it was fluid, he said. I'm not sure the exact terminology.
He comes up with a new one every day.
Yeah, but essentially it's not written in stone. To which I say, okay, are we going to get rid of the amendments that allowed women to vote? Are we going to do away with the amendments that slavery was illegal? Because if it's fluid, we could, I guess, do away with those also.
Right.
But I'm trying to make a ludicrous point here with the drunk driving side of it is when you bring that up with people and say ban alcohol, they lose their minds.
Yes.
People are responsible. You can't take it away from everyone for just a few. And that's exactly the same argument when it comes to gun control.
Well, the other argument that it makes absolutely no sense to me is the fact that it's okay to drink alcohol, but it's not okay to do drugs. They are never, never, never put in the same category.
You're right.
And they are definitely very much alike. If you smoke marijuana, you're buzzing when you're driving. If you drink 3 whiskeys, you're buzzing when you're driving. There's no difference to me.
There really isn't. It's impaired driving just in general.
It is.
By the way, prescription drugs, right?
Yep.
Or I'll tell you right now, over-the-counter drugs can do that, or something as simple as melatonin. which is
Right.
very harmless. It's a natural substance in the body. But if you pop a couple of those, you should not be driving. Right?
Exactly.
But, circling back to the main point we're talking about, which is where the gun control arguments are coming. And again, I admit my bias. There's never been a gun that's committed a crime yet that I've seen. It's
No.
the people committing it. And
Yeah.
when there's debate, I don't mind respectful debate. I think there should be respectful debate. I do think there should be some changes. But both sides do it, to be fair, but when one side is gone so extreme that anyone who owns a gun is somehow going out killing people, and that's how they're putting it, if you actually go online, or they're always at a risk they're going to do that. You can't have a sensible debate when one side is coming from that angle.
Exactly.
The other side of it is there should be no laws whatsoever. I used to feel that way. I used to be on that side, but I'm not against sensible, realistic background checks. I don't have a problem with that. When you go to get your concealed carry in North Carolina, guess what? They're doing a background check on you.
But I feel that it should be up to the individual states.
Well, I love that point. Exactly right.
This should not be a federal law.
No.
It should be up to our individual states, as should a lot of other things. And I won't get into that.
No, we can go there because, we're going to agree on this because one of the things, what is the name of our country?
The United States.
States of America.
Exactly.
Okay? Each state is in and of itself its own government. We all know that. Every state has a government. At least I think maybe Alaska doesn't. I don't know. I'm joking.
Yes, of course they do.
I only said Alaska because that's where Bill is.
Yeah.
But they all have their individual governments. And my point is if, let's say, New York wants to ban guns totally, which is what they're trying to do, I'm okay with that, to be honest with you, for New York State. If that's what the population of the state elects representatives that say that's what we're going to do, that's that population's choice. Conversely, though, if, let's use North Carolina, decides, no, we're going to allow them, they're going to be somewhat regulated, which North Carolina does. You can't just walk in and buy a gun.
Right.
That's fine too. If that's what we elect the representatives of our state and that's what they decide, I'm good with that. Then there's the other extreme, which is, places like Texas and all that basically don't have regulations. They're going constitutional carry.
Yeah.
There are still some regulations. I don't want to simplify that because somebody will jump all over me for that one, but it's a little bit easier. What works in New York should not apply in, say, Texas or Utah. What works in California should not apply to North Carolina. They're entirely different parts of the country, different areas, different people live there, different beliefs occur. And you can make this argument, by the way, on anything, right? Any of the topics. And I am very much a states' rights person. And I go after both parties, by the way, for it. I think both parties have lost sight of that. The federal government has got way too much power right now and has for a long time.
It's just a reasonable, sensible thing. For instance, Maine has a moose lottery. Why would we have Texas have a moose lottery?
Wait, they give away moose? You can win a lottery to win a moose?
No, you have to apply for a hunting.
Oh, a hunting license.
Yeah, to kill a moose.
Oh, I want to own a moose. Though.
But everybody says, oh, these hunting laws should be federal. That's nuts. We have different animals in different states, and it should be up to the state.
I haven't seen any mooses here.
Just exactly like everything else.
Moose? No, I'm joking. Your points though are spot on with that, right?
Well, that's why I'm saying it makes a lot of sense. It's just common sense.
I mean, I know in some states it's legal to shoot prairie dogs. I don't think Maine needs that law.
No, because they don't have any.
I would bet I was going to say, I can tell you New York doesn't, as I've one time lived in New York. But, each state needs to make its own decisions.
Yes.
And I would even go further than that. The counties within the states should have more power. I actually believe that. It's the closer you are to where you live, that's who should have the power. Because they're even let's use North Carolina. What happens here in the Wilmington area, I'll just generalize it with that, on the coast is a lot different than how they live in, say, Boone. So there needs to be some accountability there. Now, at the state level, there is. We each have individual representatives and so on and so forth.
Well, I think, for instance, the fact that Brunswick County, the commissioners in Brunswick County brought about the very, very helpful idea that our graduates should be able to go 2 years to the local college for an associate's at no charge. Well, this might be different for other counties, but in this county, it works supremely. Best things that this awesome commission has come up with.
I would argue it is the best thing because it's an investment. It's not an expense, it's an investment.
Exactly.
And it allows people that might not be able to go even to a community college.
Exactly.
Community college costs compared to private college, they're night and day different.
Right.
But there are many people out there that can't even afford that. So it gives them that opportunity. What a great investment. And they do have things on there that are related. We were talking about it with the police chief last week, where they can go and become police officer through that. So there's a wide range of availability. I've taught at community colleges up north. I'm a big fan of them. When my kids were going to college, that's where I tried to get them to go the first 2 years. Why spend all the money at a private college for 2 years?
Right.
Get the exact same education.
So I think you're right. In individual counties, there are things that apply that should be considered by those commissions and not by the state.
If you want to federalize everything, why should, I don't know, give me some Butte, Montana. I don't know why I picked that one. Why should Butte, Montana decide what Brunswick County does?
Exactly.
They're night and day different.
Right.
Although they might have meese. But anyway, it's, getting back to where we started with the whole control. Look, I get it, right? There's a lot of shootings going on. I'm not going to go into the conspiracy theories behind them, but there are an awful lot of them that's starting to sound pretty reasonable. There's an awful lot going on.
Right.
Personally, I attribute what's happening to the fact that it's being glorified by the media.
Oh, and I agree with that.
They can't wait to announce the shooter's name, their whole life history, everything
the family,
about them, everything. And that's glorifying it. That's giving them their what is it, 2 minutes of fame, 10 minutes of fame, whatever the word is. The first thing that I think we need to do is stop mentioning them. I'm not saying don't report on it. It's absolutely you should report it, but don't mention their names.
Well, I agree. And I don't think that they should sensationalize the fact that Joe Blow's mother was such and such and his dad was off in wherever land. I mean, family and pick it totally apart.
And in some cases, maybe the family is responsible. I'll grant that, maybe.
Yeah,
and in other cases, however, they have nothing to do with it.
Exactly.
And the problem is, like the recent spate that we've seen of shootings, is information gets put out fast. It's never checked. So, for example, the Buffalo shooter, I heard tons of different things, which now I've played out. They're not true. Same thing down in Texas. A lot of information was put out. A lot of it was guesses. And then they became quotes facts because everybody reported on them as such. And then they circle back and go, well, maybe that's not it, but it's a little blurb in the newspaper instead of a front page article, or on the news, it might be on the crawl across the bottom, And I think the very first thing, there's a ton of issues here. Mental health is a big one. Look, no sane person, and I'm going to be blunt about this, no sane person picks up a gun and goes to shoot another human being.
Right.
Without, I mean, if you have cause, obviously, I mean, somebody's attacking you or something like that, fine. I'm talking about to noticeably go up and decide to go do that. No sane person does.
And more than one.
And especially more than one,
Yes.
you know. So
Yeah.
that's where the mental health side of it, I think, is critical. We live in a society now where mental health, one, it's shamed, to be blunt. And I'm going to be very specific. The way boys are treated in schools, the mental health issues are created at the younger ages, and they're never addressed. You know, the schools, I wish Bill were here right now, because I know he both agrees with me and disagrees with me on this, but the schools are creating a lot of this because they're trying to turn the boys into girls in school. That's why they drug them the way they do. You know, ADHD was, when we were in school, was non-existent.
Oh, and it's prevalent now.
Well, but it's what it is. My son's a perfect example. My oldest son, they tried to say he had ADHD.
Yes.
He was very hyper. He was bored to tears.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't challenging him. Their solution was to drug him. And I went to war. It wasn't a fight. It was a war, and I won. But the battles I had to go through with that, because they just wanted to drug him to make that way he'd sit in his chair and pay attention.
That's what they do.
And that's what they do. But that creates the issues down the road.
Yeah.
And that's just a small slice of where we're at. Okay. Yeah. We've got to go to another commercial break. And then we will be back to close, I guess.
Are we done? Yeah.
So we got...
We need judges who serve we the people, not self-interested career politicians. This is Jenny Statting, wife of Judge Michael Statting, your conservative candidate for North Carolina Court of Appeals. Michael is a former prosecutor, sitting Republican judge, and a reservist in the United States Air Force. Michael is a lifelong public servant. That is why I'm asking you to remember to vote for Judge Michael Statting, your conservative candidate for North Carolina Court of Appeals. Paid for by the committee to elect Michael Statting. Michael Statting is a reservist for the United States Air Force. Use of job title does not imply endorsement by the Department of Air Force or the Department of Defense.
My name is Brian Wilson. I'm running for District Court Judge. During my lifetime, I've gone from protecting your God-given and constitutional freedoms as a combat vet of the U.S. military to working locally as a carpenter building homes while I worked my way through college. For the past 17 years, I've been protecting and defending your constitutional rights in the courtroom. I'm currently protecting our rights of our most vulnerable, our children, as the guardian ad litem attorney advocate for the children of Brunswick, Columbus, and Bladen County. I've spent my career serving our country, our state, and our communities, so I ask that you continue your confidence by voting for me, Brian Wilson, in the primary elections on May 17th. Thank you.
This show is also sponsored by Dr. Tony Maglione. Dr. Tony is a cardiologist practicing in Wilmington. He accepts Medicare patients, and his office is located across the street from New Hanover Regional Medical Center at 2032 17th Street. The office number is 202-1071. Dr. Tony is an author whose last book is Rules for Conservative Patriots, and it can be purchased on Amazon. His website is www.drtonymag.com.
Our founders expected judges to apply, not make, our laws. I'm Trey Allen, conservative candidate for the North Carolina Supreme Court. More than 20 years ago, I began my legal career by joining the Marine Corps and taking an oath to support and defend the United States Constitution. As a justice on our state Supreme Court, I will continue to protect the Constitution by basing my rulings on the Founders' intent, not my personal views. Paid for by Trey Allen for Justice.
Veteran Awareness sponsored by You Are Not Alone. Today's veteran homeless rate is approximately 19,750, and the numbers are declining because of the various veteran programs. If you are a veteran you know is homeless, please call 877-4AID-VET. This is a confidential and toll-free call. From this veteran to other veterans, please be there to help our brother and sister veterans. Again, the number is 1-877-424-3838. And thank you for your service.
Marine Service Pro in the Tackle Box Seafood, located at 8210 River Road, Southport. It is open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, with the Tackle Box open Monday through Saturday, 7 to 6. Marine Service Pro is a full Suzuki and Tohatsu dealership. They deal in pre-owned boats, full service and repair with certified technicians in all engines. Anything dealing with boats. The Tackle Box offers fresh local seafood, live bait, a tackle shop, and fish packing and shipping. They also offer a full-service U-Haul dealership. Pick up your live bait, have your boat serviced, spend time with Leon or Jenny for one-stop shopping at Marine Service Pro and the Tackle Box Seafood. Lee Nails, located at 4956 Long Beach Road, Southport, is the place to pamper yourself. Steve and his staff of 5 are trained to do everything. They offer manicures, which include acrylic, white tip, powder gel, liquid gel, dipping powder, and both pink and white. Pedicures include the deluxe, the special, the royal, the calming mud mask, and therapeutic wax dip. Other services include skin treatments and waxing. Feel your stress melt away in the soft spa chairs. Give yourself some time to polish selection. Lee Nails, open Monday through Saturday 9 to 7 and Sunday 11 to 5. Appointments and walk-ins welcome. Oh, but hurry. Before June 16th, they are having a special 20% off. Lee Nails, 910-457-0837.
I should get me one of them mud masks. I don't know if it would improve my face or not, but I need all the help I can get. I would, I've never had one of them. Have you had one?
No, of course. You've never had one?
I'm a guy, Mary. Come on.
So guys have them.
I've never had a mani-pedi either, but tell me. I mean, I'm curious. Tell me a little bit about what it is.
Every time I walk in there, because I'll tell you something. People who are diabetic and they have problems with their feet and legs, they have issues with that area when you're a diabetic.
Oh, very much so, yes.
Yes. Well, when I walk in there, and there's probably 3 or 4 guys in the spa chairs with they're actually not having a pedicure. They're actually having their feet and their legs taken care of because they're diabetic.
That makes sense to me. That makes total sense.
Yeah. So it's actually very, it's medicinal as well as pampering yourself.
I guess I want to have a mud mask. Now, I should say back when I was a kid, we used to play in the mud. It's basically the same thing, right? But I'm going to have to go check this place out.
Yes, you will.
First, I'm going to go check the Marine. Then I'm going to go get my nails done.
There you go.
Hopefully they can dig all this dye off my hands because 4 days later, it's still there.
I bet they'll be able. Yeah. Steve will be able to take care of that for you.
All right, we got a couple minutes left. So, anything you want to cover?
I just wanted to thank Greta and TK for the frustrating area tonight of not being able to get our equipment up and running, and to apologize if somebody was in here, which I'll find out about. But anyway, thank you. I appreciate you both
of them for their dedication and hard work towards it.
Right.
These things happen. It is live.
Yep. And I would like to invite everybody to join us for the next 2 weeks on a very special topic.
Oh, this is going to be a good one.
On All Things Brunswick. Next week on the 14th, I have invited Catherine Collins, who is the president of the Southeastern Wind Coalition, and she will be joining us along with her assistant out of Wilmington, who may be here in person. Catherine will be on Zoom, and she will be talking to us about the wind generation that they are talking about putting off our coast. The following week, I have a couple of folks who are coming in to let us know why they are opposed to this. One gentleman is a boat captain, and the other one is. Please join us for the next 2 weeks. Should be very interesting shows.
I'm actually really excited about that
We have
because
2 minutes.
I'll be honest with you, I don't know much about it. I have not formed an actual opinion. We've joked about it on the show before, and Mary will tell you, Bill and I tease her all the time about it. You're in favor of them generally.
I am in favor of them in Maine on ground.
Okay.
Because I know that they work there. As far as being on an ocean bed, I don't know that much about it, and I am looking forward to learning about it.
And I know even less than you. I'll be honest with you. I don't know much about it. I actually know more about waste energy than I do wind energy. So I'm actually fascinated by this to hear both sides.
I am too.
I have a completely open mind on it. I don't know either side, what's the way to go. So I'm really looking forward to it more just for my own personal knowledge than anything else. And I think it's important that people do listen in because they are looking at putting windmills off our coast and probably more after that.
Well, the lease has been done. The permitting can start at any time.
Yeah, they're getting bids or something now, aren't they?
Yes.
I thought I saw something in the news.
Yeah.
So that's something to look forward to. We are going to reschedule the guests we had this evening.
They will be here on July 5th.
Oh, and, I'm away that week.
I know, I'm sorry.
Oh, sure. The show I was really looking forward to. I guess I'll have to call in maybe. All right.
Anyway,
time's running short.
Yep.
So I think all things considered, we had a pretty good show today.
Absolutely.
Hiccups along the way.
Please don't give up on us, folks. We are working out the bugs and going forward.
I do a podcast with my wife that's separate from this one, and we have bugs on that one. It's just the nature of the beast.
Yeah.
We are, at least I am an amateur at this. I am certainly not a professional. So we do the best we can, and things happen, and we paste a smile on our face and say, live and let live.
Yeah.
All right. On that note, I almost said I'm Coach
joining
Dan
us.
because now I had the other podcast. On the other podcast, I'm known as Coach Dan. But on this one, I'm Dan.
And I'm Mary Stillwell. And thank you for joining us.
And we'll see you next week.
For All Things Brunswick.
Have a good day.
Good night.
Bringing you the best local talk radio shows, Wilmington's Big Talker 106.7 FM, WFBT, Carolina Beach.
And now, When Radio Was. Brought to you by Radiospirits.com.
I'm Greg Bell, and we open with the second half of an episode of Fibber McGee and Molly, and then we travel to Cairo, Egypt for the adventure series Rocky Jordan starring Jack Moyles. At the end of our previous show, Jim Jordan as Fibber McGee was bragging about his superior energy due to his physical fitness and his short sleep schedule. As we resume, I believe Harlow Wilcox is about to take the focus and pitch for the sponsor. This is from March 11th, 1947.
I like apples.
Huh? You do, Mr. Wilcox?
That's besides the point, Junior. I merely gave apples as a for instance. As an illustration.
It was
an apple that put me in business.
It was, really?
Yep. When I was in the 5th grade in Omaha, I was in love.